Hi, I'm Casey for Student Pilot Journal Podcast. We're here on location in the Vieira Wetlands, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of getting a pre-flight weather briefing. So one of the big weak areas that I find when doing flight reviews for pilots is that they're either unclear on how to get a weather briefing. Some pilots don't even know they should get a weather briefing, and a lot of them don't know that the real benefits that getting an official weather briefing can give them. A lot of them don't even know that it's a requirement by the FAA. So the FAA actually does require in the Pre-Flight Action Reg FAR 91-103 that we familiarize ourselves with weather reports and forecasts before going flying. So we're gonna detail how to get that official weather briefing today, and also mention a few other places you can get unofficial weather that's maybe a little more user-friendly for pilots as well. So the two official weather sources are either over the phone through 1-800-WX-BRIEF or online through duots.com or duot.com.
Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to make an actual call to WX-BRIEF. So we'll start that by dialing 1-800-WX-BRIEF.
Welcome to Lockheed Martin Flight Services. Please press or speak your response at any time. You can press 1 or say briefer, press 3 or
Briefer.
say tips. What state are you departing from? You may enter the two-letter state abbreviation on your keypad or speak your response now.
Florida.
Lockheed Martin Flight Services, Princeton, Minnesota.
Yes, I need to get a standard weather briefing for a flight from Melbourne to Gainesville.
Okay, so let's start here. IFR, VFR,
VFR flight, I'm sorry.
tail number, sir.
November 3744 Quebec.
And what type of craft?
That is a PA-28/uniform.
And you're departing from where?
Melbourne,
Mike Lima Bravo. Okay. What time you plan to leave?
1900.
Oh, I'll put quarter after.
Okay.
Okay. And going to where?
Going to Gainesville.
Off November Victor. Okay. About how much time for the routing, sir?
I've got 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Okay. Just some weather here for you.
Okay.
While we're waiting for that, we'll start with the synopsis. High pressure system over in the Texas area, and its ridge is moving, extending over into the northern portion of Florida. We do have, looks like a weak cold front coming off the Atlantic and running westward right through the central portion of the state also. So let's see here. Yeah, it looks like by satellite there is cloud cover associated with that cold front, and it does look like that will impact a good portion of your routing.
Okay.
All right, so this is the first provider for an official online weather briefing. So you're going to sign up for this with your medical certificate number. So this is only available to people who have current medical certificates. And here's the new user registration button. Alright, so here in the middle of the screen are the three different types of weather briefings you can get: standard, Outlook, or abbreviated. Today what we're going to do is actually go through our flight planner, seeing as we're pretending we're taking a flight from Melbourne to Gainesville. So we'll click Flight Planner, departing from Melbourne, going to Gainesville, 4,500 feet. I have these aircraft profiles loaded in here. If you have a new account, you won't see that. You'll have to click on aircraft profile and put in the performance figures for the plane. We'll assume we're doing a direct route via GPS and departing at 1900. So here's our magnetic course, heading, ground speed. Alright, so from here you can go to a route briefing. That's going to give us by default, a standard weather briefing. All the correct information should have been filled in already, and submit request. And then this is pretty much just a textual version of what the flight briefer reads you when you call 1-800-WX-BRIEF. So it goes through a synopsis, adverse weather conditions, SIGMETs, airmits, current conditions, forecasts, and then the last thing is going to be notices to airmen. One benefit of calling 1-800-WX-BRIEF over getting a DUATS briefing is if you start looking through DUATS, it's giving us, so here's runway notices to airmen for runways, and so we're going Melbourne to Gainesville, but we have notices to airmen for Titusville, New Smyrna, Orlando, Leesburg, all these different airports. If you start scrolling down and just looking at the various NOTAMs, you'll see there's a ton of them. So it really takes a long time to sift through here and get the relevant notices to airmen. Whereas if you call 1-800-WX-BRIEF, they're just gonna do that for you, just only give you the relevant ones. So that is one benefit of calling over doing an online weather briefing. I think that's pretty much it there. And then so here's the other site is duat.com, and that'll be a separate registration. It's similar, same information, just a slightly different user interface. Duat.com has better weather graphics and things like that than Duat's. Duat's is primarily text. So in addition to the official weather briefing sources, there's also quite a few sites out there that are real good for just getting unofficial weather and just kind of peripheral information about your flight. My favorite is aviationweather.gov. So the homepage here just has a current snapshot of the flight conditions in the United States. You can see down here in Florida there's these blue dots, and that is marginal VFR conditions, and also I think there's some little green guys, that's light or moderate icing conditions. And then over on the left menu bar are all the different weather products, so prog charts, pilot reports, METARs, that kind of thing. All right, so there's a few new sources of aviation weather data that are just kind of coming out, and they're gaining popularity really fast. Probably the most popular one being the mobile ForeFlight app, and we have it here on the iPad. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. It just brings up a sectional chart. The blue dot indicates where we are now. What I'm going to do is go ahead and type in our flight plan from Melbourne to Gainesville. I'm going to type in 4,500 feet. There we go. It's our cruising altitude, and then I've already put in performance data for the Piper Archer, which is 3744 Quebec. So I type in the tail number, and it knows we're flying that plane. And I press search, and it's going to put up a pink line for the route of flight, Melbourne to Gainesville. Up here on the right side, it's giving me information about the flight. It's going to take us 1 hour 34 minutes. Our airspeed's 105. That's a pre-programmed number. Fuel for the flight. It factored in the winds aloft based on the altitude that I gave it. 23 knot headwind actually. So it's going to be a long one to Gainesville. So now what I can do is go over here and change the base map to all different kinds of weather products, and this is really cool. So I can go to radar, and you see we have zoom out a little bit. We have just a passing cold front, and I'll animate that. So just a few light showers still passing through the Melbourne area. And there's others such as satellite. One that I really like is the flight rules map. And this is real similar to the Java tools on aviationweather.gov. Has pretty much this same layout, where we have green dots for VFR, and the worst weather we have around looks like in Winter Haven Bartow is some marginal VFR broken at 2,000 feet. So and all of this is just like going to aviationweather.gov or AOPA or any other site. It's unofficial weather, but it's pretty good information. As you can see, the interface is real nice. But the cool thing about ForeFlight is this file and brief button. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here, and it's going to bring up basically just a flight plan form, and all of the information that I've already put in is in in the form. So we have to change a couple things like how many people we have aboard, fuel, that sort of deal. But from here, with one more click, I can go ahead and file a VFR or IFR flight plan, as well as brief the flight. So I'm going to press brief, and what this does is it's retrieving my DUATS account, and it's getting me a standard weather briefing. Okay, so it's gotten me an official weather briefing through DUATS, and here's all the different products, just like if you had gone to DUATS or DUAT.com, as well as all of the NOTAMs broken up by type. So this is a really cool feature that ForeFlight as well as the AOPA flight planner will do, where you can get official weather briefings with a much nicer user interface than going to the DUATS or DUAT websites themselves. And actually, in the next podcast, we're going to do an in-depth review of this mobile ForeFlight. So I'll go ahead and leave it at that for now. But this is a real cool app to use. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we'd really like to hear from you on how you get an official weather briefing, and just how you check the weather in general. There's so many different sources available out there, and new and better ones are being created every day. So we'll see you next time.
Okay, more jumping jacks. Go ahead.
Be sure to email me, greg@studentpilotjournal.com. Also visit us at Facebook, www.facebook.com/SPJ podcast. Also Twitter is SPJ Greg. See ya.